I think we're running a bit late, right? So I'm going to catch up. I don't have any slides. I'm not going to bore you with slides. It's going to be off the cuff again. I'm going to talk about talent, all right? I guess I take myself as a talent. I was also educated in Australia. I worked here for a while before I went back to Malaysia. One of the things that when I look at talent is, when I look at my own family, my generation, I think I'm one of the very few that have gone back and stayed on in Malaysia. A lot of my family members, like my brother, who's also a doctor, he's working in America and he's given up his Malaysian citizenship. And it's such a shame, to be honest with you. When I communicate with my cousins, I know I look old, but they're very young. I'm the oldest of this generation. A lot of them talks about how difficult, the high crime rate, about the economic situation in Malaysia, the difficulty, the challenges and all that stuff. And I can tell you one thing for certain, negativity breeds negativity, all right? And more importantly, parents are involved, all right? So that's what we see. Parental guidance about, hey, you know what, don't come back, stay in Australia, stay in Melbourne, the weather is great. Oh no, sorry, not the weather, but everything is great in Melbourne, everything is great in Sydney, just stay on, don't come back, because Malaysia's got nothing to offer. I beg to differ, to be honest with you. Because I went back, not too many years ago, and actually, to be honest with you, I think it's been a great experience. I learned a lot. The country has got a lot to offer, besides food, which is fantastic. Weather is great. Ultimately, if you ask me, there is no glass ceiling. For all of you, if you have been educated overseas, and you bring along what you've learned here in university, and if you have actually gotten some experience here, you will find that when you go back, you will be highly regarded. Alright? And when I use the word highly regarded, means there is chance of moving up much quicker as compared to the places that you're going to be working in, either in Australia or in America or anywhere else. So I see that in Malaysia, yeah, there are a lot of difficulties, there are a lot of challenges. Which country doesn't have that? And I guess in a sense, yeah, I am an accountant, but I don't feel like an accountant, to be honest with you, because my mindset has always been, I grew up in a family where everybody's an entrepreneur. So I feel like an entrepreneur. I don't talk like an accountant in a sense, So I've got 54 partners, and I find that I'm the one, which is quite different from the rest. So for me, when you look at an entrepreneurial mindset, you find that when there are challenges, when there is trouble, when there are issues, that's the place that you have opportunities, to be honest with you. Alright? So if you're comparing working in a developed country and a developing country, let me tell you this, alright? Developing country is the place that you get greatest opportunity. Greatest opportunity in many sense, in terms of greater remuneration, greater experience, greater knowledge as well. Alright, so these are some of the things that I have, I guess in a sense, I wanted to impart to you. One of the other things that I do note is the Gen Y. The millennials, I guess, you have a lot from day one, when you're born and all that. I guess, if you look at our forefathers, when they came over from whichever country, let's say for example from China or India, they came to our country, Malaysia. They worked very hard to put rice on the table, alright? And then the next generation, which is our parents, they have a little bit more education, and most of them have a little bit more education. They want to give the best to their kids and all that, and that's you guys. And in Gen Y, because of that, you grow up with many, I guess in a sense, benefits in terms of education, in terms of all the things that you need. You get a little bit more lackadaisical, alright? You have a lot of options. And sometimes, if you have too many options, it becomes a distraction. Okay, what are the options that you have? I see a lot of you here. First option is, do I go back to Malaysia? Or do I continue to stay on here? And many of you, and I've seen many, alright, who've stayed on in a country that you're educated, not getting a good job. They become, I guess in a sense, working in Starbucks or being a barrister and all that. Seriously, why do you want to do that? You're wasting your life away, to be honest with you. Alright? My generation, which is just slightly older, we did not have those options in a sense. So for me, it's like drawing a rail track. I have an objective, and my objective is very simple. I'm a person who enjoys fine wine and smoke good cigars and all that. I wanted to make it, I wanted to be rich. I'm still not rich, but I wanted to make it. So for me, the options were not there. For me, it was just kind of like drive straight through towards the objective. So I went back to Malaysia and worked hard towards that. So when you guys have too many options like, Do I go back? Do I not go back? Do I start as an what you call an accountant if you're an accountant, or do I go into a professional firm to do that? You find that when you have all these options, you will then continue to go in circles, and you're not moving. There are too many crossroads, and you're moving in circles to get to the final objective. So I think what you need to do is to make up your mind. Make up your mind on what you want to do, and if you stay on with it, you will be able to do it. So one of the options that you have is to go back to a country, our beloved country called Malaysia. A lot of opportunities, a lot of job opportunities. If you look at the talent that we have in Malaysia, we are great, because look at Singapore, all right? PwC, the managing partner of PwC Singapore, Malaysian, all right? And before that was Gautam Banerjee, who was an Indian national. Of course, subsequently took on a Singaporean citizenship. And before him was Michael, who was also a Malaysian. I can tell you, I've got so many Malaysian friends who are partners in PwC Malaysia, as well as in Hong Kong and China as well. So if you talk about talent, we have great talent. We have great education, all right? And we have, I guess, great upbringing. We have gone through the growing pains as well. So we are competitive. We can go to any country and be able to compete. All right? So can you imagine if we bring all these people back to Malaysia with the great resource that we have, natural resources as compared to Singapore, it's got nothing, to be honest with you. Right? So if you compare Greater Malaysia against Singapore, we should be doing a lot better. All right? So I think it's good to hear that, I guess, the new administration under Najib, you're working on transformation. I really, truly believe in that. If you are not a believer of change, you will find that we're not going to get anywhere. If you don't believe in changes, all right, and you feel that you're going to get something different, that's not going to happen. So unless we believe in it, we are not going to get anywhere. So unless you come back and make that change, we are not going to get anywhere as well. Okay, so I'm going to keep my, I guess in a sense, my session short because I've got to catch up time. Two gentlemen have taken too much of my time. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave a lot of things to the Q&A because it's difficult to kind of articulate in a sense in terms of presentation. But I think in the Q&A, you can direct more questions, more specific, and we'll try to address them to the best of our ability. All right, thank you so much.